Here's something almost nobody tells you before you buy this vacuum. The battery number on the box isn't the number that actually decides whether you'll love it or regret it. There's a smaller, sneakier number hiding behind that one, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is and whether it matters for your home. Welcome back to Sweep Gear, where we dig past the marketing and get you honest, real-world answers before you spend your money. Today we're looking at the Shark WANDVAC cordless hand vac, the WV201BK, Shark's tiny, ultra lightweight handheld that's become one of the most talked about grab and go vacuums out there. Let's start with the situation this thing is actually built for. You spill cereal on the kitchen floor. Your dog tracks litter across the hallway. Your car's console is covered in crumbs before a road trip. None of that justifies hauling out your main vacuum, untangling the cord, and putting it all away again just to handle a 30-second job. That gap between there's a mess and it's gone is exactly what a hand vac like this is supposed to close. And that's exactly why people search for something like the WANDVAC. They're not trying to replace their upright or their robot vacuum. They want something that lives right where the mess happens and handles it instantly without friction. That single idea, convenience over everything else, is the whole reason this product exists. So, does it actually deliver? Let's start with what's verified. This thing weighs just 1.4 pounds. That's lighter than a lot of smartphones plus a water bottle. It's built around a high-speed brushless motor, and power draw measurements found it pulls close to 10.6 amps, nearly as much as some full-size household vacuums use. That's a genuinely surprising number for something this small, and it explains a lot about how this vacuum performs. In real-world use, it picked up loose rice on hardwood without letting a single grain bounce back out, and it handled flour spilled across tile grout cleanly, with the nozzle sealing tight enough to pull fine debris out of the cracks. If your mental image of a tiny handheld vacuum is underpowered toy, this one pushes back on that pretty convincingly. But here's where we need to slow down, because there's a wrinkle in that pet hair story specifically. In a side-by-side comparison against a competing handheld with a motorized brush, the WANDVAC actually came in second for lifting embedded pet hair out of carpet. It's not that it failed. Suction alone, without a spinning brush to agitate the fibers, has real limits once hair gets worked down into carpet or upholstery. On hard floors and lightly shedding surfaces, it does the job well. Buried in your rug after a heavy shedding week, it's fighting a real physical limitation, not a design flaw. Now, about that motor pulling nearly household vacuum level power, powerful motors generate heat. Owners have noted the WANDVAC's body gets noticeably warm during use, not hot enough to be a safety concern, but warm enough that you'll feel it after several minutes of continuous use. That's the trade-off for cramming this much suction into something this small. Let's talk about what makes daily ownership genuinely pleasant here, because there's real substance to it. The one-touch empty function means you press a button and the dust cup opens directly over your trash can. No digging debris out with your fingers. The charging dock holds both included tools right on it, so you're never hunting for the crevice attachment in a junk drawer. And the fabric filter is washable and reusable, so you're not stuck buying replacement filters every few months as long as you rinse it out regularly. All right, time to address the number everybody's actually here for. Shark's own listed runtime is 10 minutes. Independent evaluations measured it closer to 8. Real owners report anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes depending on how they use it. So somewhere in that 8 to 10 minute window is the honest expectation. But here's the part almost nobody talks about, and it's the real story. The dust cup on this thing holds just 0.08 of a quart, smaller than a coffee cup. In practice, that means with anything more than a light job, you'll hit a full bin and need to stop and empty it before your battery even runs out. The battery life number was never really your ceiling. The dust cup usually gets there first. That's the real number that determines how much cleaning you can actually get done in one go, and it's noticeably smaller than the spec sheet implies. That's not automatically a deal breaker, though. It depends entirely on how you plan to use it. Owners who treat this as a station tool parked permanently near one recurring mess zone, a car, a kitchen counter, a litter box area, tend to report high satisfaction because the short runtime never becomes a problem for that specific job. Owners who expect it to handle a full room, a whole car interior in one pass, or a staircase top to bottom tend to walk away disappointed. This is a specialist, not a generalist. There's also a sealed, non-removable battery here, which means you can't swap in a spare to extend your session. And there's something worth flagging honestly, a real documented pattern of owners reporting charging issues, the power button lighting up, but the motor not running, or the unit simply not accepting a charge. Shark's own support materials actually have a dedicated troubleshooting section for this, which tells you it's common enough to need one. The fix is usually simple. Wipe down the charging contacts on both the dock and the vacuum and make sure it's fully seated when you place it down. And when customers have reported these issues publicly, Shark's support team has responded directly, offering troubleshooting help and replacement options. That's a good sign for how the company handles it when things go wrong. One more thing worth clearing up, because you'll see conflicting claims if you shop around. Some retailer listings market this as a HEPA vacuum. Based on the most detailed independent breakdown available, the filter that actually ships in the box is a washable fabric filter, not a certified HEPA filter. True HEPA-rated replacement filters do exist as an aftermarket upgrade if allergen filtration matters a lot to you, but don't buy this specifically expecting HEPA filtration standard. That claim doesn't hold up cleanly under scrutiny. If you're weighing whether to grab one, I've left the product link in the description below so you can check today's price and see what other buyers are currently saying. So how does this stack up against the alternatives people usually compare it to? Shark's own pet cordless model, the IX141, runs over 25 minutes on a charge, includes a motorized brush for embedded pet hair, and converts between a handheld and a floor vacuum. It costs more, but if versatility and runtime matter more to you than raw lightness, that's the stronger pick. And it's a video I've already covered on this channel if you want the full breakdown. On the other end, budget handhelds like the Black and Decker Dustbuster line tend to have larger canisters and are easier to use straight out of the box at a noticeably lower price, though they typically don't match this Shark's suction to weight ratio. So who should actually buy the WANDVAC WV201BK? If you want a dedicated car vacuum, live in an apartment with limited storage, or just want one tool parked near a specific recurring mess zone in your home, this delivers on that promise, and it does it in one of the lightest, most convenient packages available. If you're hoping this replaces your primary vacuum, you have a multi-pet household with a lot of carpet, or you specifically need certified HEPA filtration, you'll be happier with something else. Either the IX141 within Shark's own lineup, or a full-size cordless stick vacuum built for whole home cleaning. Is it worth the price? Honestly, it depends on what you're comparing it to. Against Shark's own more capable models, the value math gets a little shakier since you're paying a premium price for a narrower job. But judge purely on what it's designed to do, fast, lightweight, targeted cleanup, it does that job well and consistently. If you found this helpful, tap that like button. It really does help this channel keep making videos like this one. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. We break down vacuums and cleaning gear the same honest way every single time. I'd love to know what you'd actually use this for. Is it a car vacuum for you, a kitchen counter tool, or something else entirely? Drop it in the comments. I read every one of them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.